Hello, bonjour. Bon, so, dear AFCEN members and dear experts, welcome to you. Je ne vois pas la caméra. Est-ce qu'il y a bien quelqu'un qui filme? Est-ce qu'il peut le monsieur peut me faire signe pour la retransmission en vidéo? C'est bon? Ok, merci monsieur. Ok, donc bonjour à tous, membres et experts de l'AFCEN. So, in the name of AFCEN, it's a pleasure for me to welcome you today and meet you again during this very nice World Nuclear Exhibition. So, we of course also welcome our members and experts who will follow the presentation online. So today our aim is to share with you the AFCEN roadmap for 2021 to 2025. And for this, I am pleased to introduce AFCEN President Laurent Thierry himself, who will do the lecture. So the time is split in two. First, we have 10 to 15 minutes presentation, and after, we would like to discuss with you, and to listen to what are your comments about this roadmap, and to define how we move all together forward. So now I will leave Laurent to explain the roadmap.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I am pleased to be here and to present you our new strategic plan, AFCEN strategic plan for the next 5 years. The first strategic plan for AFCEN was decided 3 years ago by the previous president. And in last December, we decided to lead an overhaul of our strategic plan and to share a reflection within the association to decide a kind of upgrade of our strategic plan and to adapt it to the current context, quickly changing, and enriching it with a renewed vision of the role of nuclear codes in our industrial sectors. And the guidance for me, which is very important, is to implement more than in the previous version, a reflection about the industrial nature of AFCEN activities. And this new strategic plan proposes a vision based on 3 major challenges. It revisits, of course, our analysis of threats, opportunities, strength and weakness. And the action have then been described in line with this vision and analysis.
En fait, qui s'adapte au fuseau.
So, let's go. What is our mission? Our mission is to develop and provide codes and reference documents, offering, of course, accurate and practical rules for the design, the construction, and the in-service inspection regarding PWR. Let's remind you 3 figures. The first one is, of course, 7 codes provided by AFCEN, 3 on mechanical components, 1 on civil works, 1 on electrical and INC systems, 1 on fire protection, and on fuel assemblies. Second figures, more than 120 reactors worldwide have been designed and built and operated with AFCEN codes. And the third figures is today, we have about 70 members at the AFCEN Association. Our ambition is to be in Europe the reference nuclear codes for all new projects, and especially in this context of new nuclear build, high power, PWR, or small modular reactor. And worldwide to be chosen for our guarantee of safety and the effectiveness of the codes in standardization, industrial practices, and building on feedback. Our three values, core values, are expertise, collaboration between experts to write and to provide the codes, and of course, accountability. Accountability for nuclear safety as a priority and industrial efficiency as a goal. And there is no trust without accountability, especially in the nuclear industry, and the multiple examples of CFSI issues in the last years remind us how it's important to create trust, especially with the safety authorities. So, what means for us, for AFCEN, being an industrial, be driven by industrial issues? Three main topics. The first one is making nuclear safety a priority, but still with industrial performance as a goal, and to offer, of course, industrial solution to the safety authorities in which safety authority can trust and in which owner can trust. The second topic is to aim for performance and efficiency. That means to propose, of course, graded requirements according to a given safety issue. The important word is graded. To deliver explicit and accessible codes that can be used by all nuclear stakeholders, and to highlight the gain for the users, the engineering offices, the manufacturers and owners, and to enable the introduction of innovations. This last point is very important. We need to do the revolution in non-destructive test technology. We need to accelerate, for example, additive manufacturing in nuclear manufacturing, and so on. The last topic is meeting the needs of project and industry manufacturers. We have to take more in account the feedback from field experience over time to be quicker and quicker, to select practices supported by standards, European or ISO, and applicable by industry manufacturers in order to facilitate the compliance of suppliers' products with AFCEN codes. And last, we have to strengthen the stability and the reliability of projects by standardizing industrial practices. Never forget that AFCEN codes are the better stone to standardize a project. So, what are now the three main challenges regarding our strategic plan? The first one is to have a more mature, a more explicit editorial policy for codes, to develop and update at a pace shared by stakeholders, a set of consistent rules shared with industry manufacturers, proven and optimized to ensure compliance with nuclear safety requirements and regulations. I will, in the next slide, give some detailed action regarding each challenge. The second challenge is to have a high level of interaction with stakeholders, major projects, operators, and safety authorities, to be recognized by prospects and European regulators, to support projects choice of code, editions, and so on, and operators. The third challenge is to support and foster proficiency in the codes, to develop knowledge and proficiency in the codes, to support users, to disseminate good practices, to ensure the adoption of the content of codes by all the users, from the owner or architect engineer to all tiers of suppliers. This is the three main challenges identified in our strategic plan. And to make possible the realization of these challenges, we need to be supported by a resources plan, which is only the fact that we need resources, expertises within our members to come and to work together to write the codes and the reference documentation. So let's speak 1 minute about the three challenges. The first one, to have a new editorial policy for codes. We have identified 4 main actions. The first one is to have, as I said, a clear and explicit editorial policy that is resourced and built with stakeholders to define the content, the pace of development of each code, and an editorial policy that defines objectives relating to the structure of the code, the statement of the requirements, the coverage of technical topics with very clear roles. The second main action is we want to reinforce our experience feedback loop based on the participations of key business experts, the experience feedback meetings with the clients, including projects and industry manufacturers, and an experience feedback loop embedded in the subcommittee processes. So to change our organization to be more oriented feedback. The third action is the rules for drafting codes inspired by requirements engineering that provide for clear and agreed hierarchy between requirement level, recommendations, notes, etc. that reinforce the legitimacy of requirements. It's a very important action, and we have already done some tests with some part of codes to test all the system engineering methods regarding the fact to write with a new way the requirement. And the fourth action is modification sheets guaranteeing that the solutions proposed by the codes are endorsed by industry manufacturers and compliant with the regulations. The second challenge is to be focused on the customer and with all the interaction with stakeholders. Here we have 5 main actions. The first one is to increase influence in Europe and in the world, mainly by participating to a lot of official workshop, and to perform, for example, comparative analysis with other regulations and standards to better explain and justify the use of AFCEN codes. And specifically for China, to assist the Chinese sector in the establishment of its reference system to expand AFCEN's footprint. The second action is to interact with authorities to increase recognition of the codes, to initiate evaluation requests, for example, for recognition with French regulators, to make ourselves known to European regulators and becomes a reference tool for evaluating third-party designs, and so on. The third action is, and it's a very important action, I think, is to support major projects with AFCEN tools to strengthen control and stability of the project technical reference basis. With two important facts. The first one is to be able to guarantee the forward compatibility of successive editions of a code with a systematic non-regression analysis of the modification sheets of each new edition. And we have to guarantee that a call for tenders based, for example, on the X edition of the code can be responded with a more recent edition without any deterioration in the safety or quality. And to provide tools to justify the stability of the project technical reference basis. To share the additional program with major projects, to evaluate the impact of change with each new code edition, or to exploit the forward compatibility of editions. The fourth action is to support, of course, the French SMR project, NewMOAD, in choosing AFCEN and to adapt to do the development of the codes required by this project. And the fifth one is to provide guidance to operators, of course, and to carry on with the implementation of the applicable regulations and basic nuclear facilities based on AFCEN codes and AFCEN professional guides accepted by the regulator. The last challenge is to support and foster proficiency in the codes. It's very important, of course, to support the users by a good use of the AFCEN codes. Three main actions: assimilation and evaluation. We need to develop self-assessment guide to assess the proficiency of supplier in the RCCM and RCCE codes as part of a supplier qualification process. This action has been decided by EDF Excel plan and is on progress until Q2 of next year. The second main action is to assist with the use of codes in the course of a contract by providing specialized training and support for all stakeholders, clients, manufacturers, authorities, and so on, and to expand the AFCEN certificate training catalog. And the last one, which is quite new, is to be more agile and to improve our organization, provide quick response. For example, not 3 months currently, but a target on 1 week to code interpretation requests to keep up with the pace of the project. So all this challenge can be assumed without a resources plan. And we have, of course, to increase membership among companies bringing key experts. And the WNE is a very good opportunity to do that. And we have identified some targets for new members. The second one is to give credit for the time spent within AFCEN in an expert career at EDF, Framatome, or SIA, or other company, and to increase the prestige of appointments to AFCEN, recognize the experts within AFCEN, and so on. The third one is to build a stronger presence of industry experts in the working groups of each subcommittee. It's very important for me because if we want to drive by the industrial mindset all the AFCEN codes, we need to have more industry experts in the working group. And the last one is to experiment with the production of modification sheets by some Chinese experts on selected topics, for example, for SCCM code in the next years. So I have finished. Remember, three main challenges. 1, resources plan. driven by industrial mindset, and I hope this new strategic plan will be very useful for all the users. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurent. So now I'm turning to the assembly of people, of members. So do you have one questions? What are your expectation regarding what you have listened here? Does everyone, someone has got, have got a question?
No question. Ok, on se lance.
So, no?
Jean-François. Voilà, Jean-François.
Ah.
Okay. So thank you for this very clear and very wide presentation of the codes and their evolution. I have one question maybe concerning the CFSI risks you just mentioned, and the way you intend to implement your codes and propagate your codes within digital engineering. Maybe there is a link. Don't you increase the risk of CFSI while having this kind of approach, or is it a way to mitigate this risk? You can look at it both ways, I think.
First, CFSI is a very high issue in the mind of safety authorities. For example, this Friday, we have a very big inspection from AFCEN, the French regulator, inside EDF to challenge our organization regarding CFSI risk. Second point, I think that AFCEN codes are very useful to create trust and to create what is very important regarding CFSI risk by doing the whole difference between requirements and recommendation, only note or something. And the third point is, I don't think that digital way to drive things present a risk if we take care about the way to exchange data, to normalize the data we want to exchange between an owner, an engineering, a manufacturer, and so on, and to be able to use some new technology to be sure that the data can be changed. For example, crypto, digital roles, and so on. And we have some projects, for example, for all the laboratories activities, laboratories which are doing the evaluation of mechanical characteristics, for example, tenacity, and so on, to have some new rules, to have some crypto processes to guarantee that the data can be changed. So we have to work together in this direction and to be sure that all the CFSI risk from the conception to the manufacturing and to the erection is well mastered.
So I'm afraid we reached the time for the conference. So because it's quite to be one, so I propose you, for the people interested, our members and experts, to join us on the stand, which is located over there, D100, for a short cocktail to prolong the exchange. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you.